episode 11 of European Battle Royale. I'm doing the same thing I did with the last two episodes, where I'm recording this directly after episode 10 before having edited it. I figured I might as well record this while it's still fresh in my mind. We're going to be getting to the top 10 by the end of this episode, which means 3 more countries will be eliminated, and I will end the episode exactly when that happens. So be prepared for that and get psyched. But with that, let's get right into it. The Netherlands will be facing a rebellion. So the German parts of the Netherlands are rebelling from the Netherlands. They want to be part of Germany again. And actually, a lot of this was part of France, but it's been part of Germany long enough that they identify as German now. Like, probably they're honestly German speaking by this point, because it's been like a generation since it was French. So they're rebelling and they want to be part of Germany, and Germany supports them and will start invading into them. And the Netherlands will not be able to get help from Russia, so they'll surrender pretty quickly. But obviously they'll remain part of the Green Alliance. So let's see what this looks like. And these are the new borders of the lowlands. So the Slavic Union will be invading east. So it looks like the new alliance between the Netherlands and Russia is not even going to be able to get its feet off the ground, because as soon as Russia tries declaring its independence from the Slavic Union, that just doesn't go well. Moscow is taken, and the government doesn't even have time to flee. And so although I'm showing the entire country being invaded, it's more like just being occupied, because there's not really any actual resistance. And we don't even have to go over the peace treaty. It's not going to take me more than like 10 seconds to draw it, because it's literally just all of Russia being annexed into the Slavic Union, which now has every single Slavic country part of it, besides parts of Italy and Germany and Vatican, which is now Papal States. But it has most Slavic countries as part of it, so that's what's important to it. The Netherlands alone will no longer be part of an alliance. The Netherlands will invade southwest. Seeing no hope for themselves, the Netherlands will do one last maneuver to try and keep themselves in it, and they will try and invade southwest. And that means into France. So they will invade into France, and it'll go actually remarkably well, given how powerful they are compared to Portugal, France, which is one country, but it's also administratively divided into Portugal and France, so there are also invading into France. That's not an incorrect thing to say. Unfortunately, the Sign Alliance has something to say about that. Also, this is part of the Netherlands. Anyway, the Sign Alliance has something to say about that. First, their colony in Britain is just completely taken because it wasn't defended very well. Then France and Portugal will get assistance from the rest of the Sign Alliance, especially the Vatican, and they'll take their whole country back before invading further into the Netherlands. And Germany will also support this invasion of the Netherlands, and the Netherlands realizes they definitely should not have made that alliance with Russia, as their entire country is officially destroyed. And this is how the Netherlands are divided between France and Germany. France gets their English colony. Sorry, I forgot to say that. We only have room for one more state to be removed this episode, so this could be a pretty short one. We'll see. Italy will be making an alliance with the Slavic Union. So Italy will be betraying the Purple Alliance and joining the Yellow Alliance. And Germany all of a sudden feels diplomatically isolated. And Italy did this, again, for money. The same reason someone in the last episode betrayed their alliance. Germany will be invading west. So the Great War between the Purple and Cyan Alliances has begun. And you might be wondering, well, there's only 2 countries in the Purple Alliance. Is that even a war of alliances? And well, once Germany starts invading west, it's no longer 2 countries. I'm going to not show them as part of the Purple Alliance because I did the thing at the beginning where I said no countries are going to join alliances, blah, blah, blah. But almost instantly, Finland and Scotland will both join the Purple Alliance, or at least the cause of the Purple Alliance. And Scotland will start invading into England, and the English people will basically assassinate their French occupiers as France moves all their troops out of England anyway, and moves them to basically try and fight Germany. And they're doing a pretty bad job at it, as Germany manages to take over most of the Alps. And you have to realize the Sign Alliance is getting dangerously small at this point, and Iceland is busy defending. Well, first of all, you can kind of see Svalbard just gets taken immediately. Svalbard has been the thing of a lot of wars during the series for some reason. Norway is being invaded by Finland. The Yellow Alliance is just loving this. They're literally loving this. They're watching the entire rest of Europe, besides Greece, destroy themselves and make themselves ready to be the Yellow Alliance's meat in the last episode. And this war probably will get rid of one more country, which means that this will be the last event of the episode, if I had to guess. But anyways, Norway is not able to be defended by Iceland. As Scotland is trying to invade Ireland, and they kind of don't really care about France anymore. But Iceland decides to kind of go into isolationism. Ireland actually resists Scottish invasion for obviously a good reason, which means that Ireland will still be owned by Iceland, but Iceland kind of doesn't care about them anymore. In fact, Ireland might be made a new country if I need to increase the number of countries, so there's still 10 at the end of this episode. Either way, Great Britain will be reformed under Scotland. But back to this, it turns out that the other Sign Alliance member, Vatican City, is also not helping France. They are completely staying neutral. So France, Portugal is on their own. And although they're stronger than Germany, and they're probably even stronger than Germany, Switzerland, Scotland, and Finland, they logistically were prepared for their allies to help them, and their allies aren't helping them. So they're kind of doing mediocrely. And actually, scratch what I just said, because I don't think any countries are actually going to be getting destroyed because of this war. I think this is just going to be kind of a stalemate that eventually just leads into a peace treaty with the current borders being recognized. So Ireland does not gain their independence, but otherwise this is the new map of Europe. Finland gains Norway. We've still got 11 countries to go, and one of them needs to get out in this episode, though, so let's do one more event, which will probably be the last. The Slavic Union will face a rebellion, so this is definitely not going to be the last. So there's a lot of places that could rebel from the Slavic Union. They've annexed more territory than any other country in this series. But the country that will be rebelling from the Slavic Union is going to be Turkey. Obviously, it could have been any country, but it's going to be Turkey. And it's going to actually start around Ankara, because that is where they most identify as Turkish. And the land around Ankara, this is about the land that actually is a core part of the rebellion. And surprisingly, probably the most surprising thing that's happened in this entire series in terms of alliances, Greece will join on the side of Turkey and fund the Turkish rebellion, even though they want Turkish land. That is what Greece wants out of this rebellion, is Turkish land. And the Turkish rebellion actually goes pretty well, because the governor of Turkey, which was a province, essentially, or a state in the Slavic Union, declares independence as well, and starts using the Slavic Union forces that were in Turkey against the other Slavic Union forces. And that basically just leads to Turkey gaining its independence, as the Slavic Union just is willing to give it to it. But Greece, in exchange for funding the Slavic Union and even funding the Turkish rebellion and even invading a bit into the Slavic Union, begs for some territory, and the Slavic Union and Turkey has to give it to them. So let's see what this looks like. Is Turkey happy about the fact that Greece got most of the territory they wanted? No. Are they going to go with it anyway because they need Greece in order to have anyone who supports their existence? Yes. So now we actually have two countries to get rid of. Estonia will be invading Southeast. In one of the most striking betrayals of all time, Estonia will be invading into the Slavic Union. And you definitely notice that usually when I do invasions that are also betrayals, the betrayer is colored in red and the rest of the alliance stays. But this time, Italy is siding with Estonia. The Slavic Union needs to be reduced in power. Not destroyed, just reduced. And so Estonia will be the first to begin invading, and they will be relatively successful because they use the fact that it was intended for Estonian troops to be able to get around the country quickly because this betrayal was not expected. And all of a sudden, Greece joins the invasion. Turkey joins the invasion. Finland joins the invasion. Germany joins the invasion. And this is basically the biggest coalition we've seen in the history of the series, making sure the Slavic Union does not win this game. is not the winner of this series. The Slavic Union will probably not be destroyed by this war, but they will be crippled by it. Crippled beyond repair? Who's to say? As Turkey starts invading into the Russian territory, and a massive Russian rebellion erupts all across the Urals. The Russian north is taken, partially by Finland and partially by Russian rebels, as the entire east of the country, which is basically all Russian territory, is collapsing in on itself, and the main core parts of the territory that they have are starting to get invaded. Germany does not invade into Italy. That was a mistake. But Germany and Italy are together doing a great job invading. Greece is doing a great job invading. Again, they're not invading into each other. It's just that I'm not being that careful with my art program that I'm using to make this series. Eventually, all the Russian parts of the Slavic Union are fully taken, and at this point, the Slavic Union, which is just Slovakia, Ukraine, and Belarus, will surrender. And these are the new borders of Eastern Europe. The Slavic Union was allowed to survive and thrive, or not thrive. What am I saying? They were allowed to survive. They lost their Belarusian territory. They have like half of their Slovakian territory. They keep their Ukrainian territory and some of their Russian territory. Russia was not trusted to come back into existence, so they didn't. So actually no new countries arise from this, but the Slavic Union has been weakened. And if you'll see, they're actually still in the Yellow Alliance because it'll actually be helpful for Italy and for Estonia if they are. Okay, this is almost certainly going to be the last event of this episode. Portugal, France will invade south. The country to the south of them is going to be Italy. You can kind of see how Sardinia is to the south. They want Sardinia back, and the Vatican wants Italy back. The Papal States want Italy back. Who's the Vatican? I don't know who that is. So Italy will just flee to their colony over here. So I guess this wasn't the last event of this episode, but the Yellow Alliance fails to help out in time, and Italy has already surrendered by the time anything happens. Actually, I forgot there were 12 states left, but somehow this is still gonna let's just go. The UK will be invading south. After having successfully taken some land from France, the UK wants to take the rest. And so that's what they'll try to do. And let's just say they can't even land on France, but Iceland can land in Scotland, and it doesn't go well, as Scotland is taken, and a bunch of the English who have been Frankified start rebelling, mostly in Cornwall, but then in Wales, and England and the UK as a whole shall fall to France. Okay, this is the last event of this episode. Unless this is an alliance, in which case a country can't be destroyed, I promise to you a country will be destroyed. Switzerland? Come on! Okay, Switzerland and Iceland are making an alliance. Germany gets betrayed by Switzerland, I guess. Finland will be uniting west. The country to the west of Finland is Estonia. So Finland and Estonia will be merging into what I can only describe as the Uralic Union, if we're going to call the other one the Slavic Union. Since Finnish and Estonian, I believe, are both Uralic languages. And these are the official top 10. Put down in the comments who you think will win. But with that, let's end the episode. Like and subscribe, all that jazz, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the finale of European Battle Royale.